That's the thing that jumped off the page at me at Buffalo on Thursday night as we talked about that game. First 5-6 series, that looked like a team that was in week 8 of the season already.
I know. They looked so well prepared.
You never saw that in preseason, and they just turned it on, and they just looked like they had played they were 3 months into the season.
Well, McDermott's got that ability to get guys ready for the first game of the season. Getting to L.A. a little bit early was a big deal. I do think that you will see a little bit with the Chargers. I think the Chargers will look ready right out of the gate, and I think the Raiders will have a few things to get used to, but you look at the weapons they have on the offensive side. You can't add Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller as your main guys and not think, my goodness, there's going to be a lot of open passes out of the backfield. And Derek Carr's accurate. He's good deep downfield. When you give him his shots, he's finally got a legit superstar as a deep threat, and really a guy who can win any contested ball in double coverage. So Devontae Adams is a game changer.
Yep, that's again my call for possible game of the week from just a fan standpoint watching that game. I hope and think it will be a good one. 888-366-3733. 888-366-FREE is the number. A couple minutes left here in the show, Paul Nolan. I'll go first on my free play. I gave it yesterday. I'm sticking with it, obviously, and that's Minnesota upset Green Bay in the opener. Green Bay last year, I remember their opener. My God, they looked abysmal. Looked like a high school team. Looked like they had never touched a football before. And I think this is a Minnesota team. Obviously, they're starting to get some love in the betting market over the summer. This number, as you can see, new coach, obviously, and you look at Zimmer was a money-making machine for the Vikings. And they're not my favorite team in the world, but I just look at this spot. And I remember Green Bay last year in week 1, and I like Minnesota here as a free play to win this game.
Yeah, no, I like the way you're thinking on this. We've seen Rodgers have the ability to get frustrated. We've seen him a couple times where, he gets, a little bit flustered. We saw what he looked like, on that Sunday night game when he had no receivers to throw to. And, they got very, very lucky to beat Arizona when just how Arizona blew that game and how I lost money on that game. I can't get over it.
You lose a guy that's 33% of your offense. I mean, that's...
Forget about it.
You don't know how that's going to set in a game situation.
Yeah, and early in the show, I gave out a free Colts Texans over. I think that's a pretty good value. I don't know why my numbers say that line should be 48. I think we're getting a really good value on that one. So I think that going over, is still a good free play. And if you remember last year on the free plays on the air, well, the last 3 years we're over 70%. So always make sure if you're not getting us here, go to freewinners.net and catch the show there. But again, get involved. Give us a call. Recorded message. It's 888-366-FREE. We'll win for you. We'll treat you right, and we'll teach you every nuance of the business.
Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals, all 3 of those games on the free recorded message. Call right now, 888-366-3733, 888-366-3733. That's going to do it for us for a week 1. Enjoy the Sunday, Paul Nolan. Enjoy the day, everybody. Hope you cash some tickets. That's what it's all about. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you back here next weekend for more of the freewinners.net radio show. All right, point spread players, here we go. No better way to start the NFL season than win a 3-0 sweep, and that's what we've got for you today. Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals. All 3 games on the free recorded message right now. Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals, and it's all absolutely free. Call right now, 888-366-3733, 888-366-3733. Call now, 888-366-FREE is the number to call. Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals, 3-0 for each and every caller right now. If you missed the Buffalo Bills on Thursday night, do not make the same mistake again. If you missed a huge college football Saturday yesterday, do not make the same mistake again. Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals, 3-0 for each and every caller. Call right now, 888-366-3733, 888-366-3733, 888-366-3733 is the number, but that's not all. Paul Nolan, as always, freewinners.net, a $49 guaranteed winner.
Guys, we absolutely love Steelers and Bengals. We know we're going to win that game, and for $49 with a money-back guarantee, you can't lose. We love the game. It's going to win. You're going to pay $49 at freewinners.net. If it fails to cover the spread, we'll instantly give you your money back, or we'll give you 7 days of the executive service absolutely free. It's your choice. We love the games today. Make sure you give us a call and visit us at freewinners.net.
888-366-3733 is the number. 888-366-3733. Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals. 3-0 for each and every caller right now. 888-366-3733. Do not let your week one be a losing one. Be a winner right now. 3-0. Saints, Falcons, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Cardinals. Call 888-366-3733. 888-366-3733.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station. It's a new era for the 49ers.
We have moved on to Trey.
With a roster full of talent.
Deebo Samuel with the catch.
The pass is going to be picked off by Bosa. Nick Bosa.
And it's almost time for kickoff. Welcome to the Kickoff Show with Larry Krueger and Lorenzo Neal on 95.7 The Game. Sponsored by Jim Beam Bourbon Whiskey. Taste the world's #1 bourbon. And by Harris Ranch Beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality.
And like that, we're off and running. Larry Krueger, Lo Neal, getting you ready for Niner football. It is week 1 in the NFL. Welcome to 95.7 The Game's 49er coverage. Larry Krueger joined by the 16-year vet, Lorenzo Neal, 3-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl fullback, maybe the best blocking fullback maybe ever. What's up, Lo? Good to see you.
What's up, my brother? It's good to see you face to face. When the fist bump came in. Got a lot of money to make out there. Larry's on fire, guys. I'm telling you. Today I'm excited because this guy, all he does is win, no matter what.
Well, I cannot wait. We got JD, John Dickinson on the ground, boots on the ground, boots on the rainy ground, I should say, at Soldier Field, the oldest and smallest stadium in the NFL. It opened in 1924.
Right.
Home of the Bears since '71. Smallest venue in the league. JD's got boots on the ground there. It has been raining since 7 a.m. Central Time. And why don't we jump right in on that angle, Lo? I mean, huge rain day for the 2022 debut of Trey Lance, who is now making his 3rd NFL start.
Sure.
What do you expect the impact to be of the rain today?
Yeah, I think the impact of the rain is going to definitely play a factor in this ball game. Ground's going to be a lot sloppier. It's a lot sloppier football. Probably going to be the ball's going to be on the ground. Both teams might cough it up because of the rain and because of the weather, the elements. At Soldier Field, man, that place has been legendary. I remember playing there, playing in that particular field, and playing against the great Brian Urlacher and the different guys that played against the end of Michael Singletary. So many of these different old guys that you remember, just the mystique of playing in Chicago, Soldier Field. I think it's going to be great, but it's a great way for the Niners, a young quarterback, to start the season on the road with a winnable game, but still in a tough, hostile environment, but a winnable game. This is great for Trey.
Yeah, I'm really eager to see a lot of angles on this thing. The Bears have, they started with turf. Then they went to grass. They've had the Kentucky bluegrass forever. This year, they took out the bluegrass, replaced it with the Bermuda grass. You've played on all kinds of surfaces, Lo. Bermuda grass taking on big-time rain. What do you expect there?
Yeah, I just think that you're going to have the feel, like you said. Guys are going to probably go out there in the half-inch studs and go to the inch, go to the half-inch, and probably end up going to the inch studs because the fact when you want to go out there and you want to see how the footing feels. And early you might go, oh, it feels okay. But after halftime, after first and second quarter, that feel starts getting chewed up and eaten up more and more. So guys may change their studs, or maybe they're going to go out there with an inch. So it's going to be interesting just what the guys go out there and how they play, but footing's not going to be great. That's just a part of playing football, especially in the rain.
What was your process? You mentioned the different lengths of the cleats. Would you go out a couple hours before and kind of test it, do some cutting, and see what your footing was like, and then, or would coaches or the trainers recommend a certain cleat?
Yeah, without a doubt. You do have your equipment managers that's kind of recommending, but coaches say, hey guys, go out there early. Hey, go test the feel out. Hey, it's raining out there. Hey, you need to find out what you feel good in, because still, in spite of, there's still some guys that are slick of feet and they say, you know what, I'm still going to go with the half-inch studs instead of the inch, even though in spite of the field conditions. And you'll see guys slipping and falling and losing their balance. But yes, you definitely want to go out there, and you do run a little differently in the mud and in the rain, because you have to make sure that you're picking up your feet and you're placing it down, and also that you get on your more flat-footed, because you want more surface to try to grab, because you are going to be giving up, some of your steadiness on your feet. So it's just going to be interesting because of the fact, to me, in this type of weather, teams that can run the ball in this type of weather, they usually fare best.
It is interesting. If you go to the racetrack and you see the rain start to fall, there'll be certain bettors who get real excited.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because now it's like all about mudders. Who's a good mudder?
Yeah.
And it's all tied to how big is the hoofs of the horses. And then if you got smaller hoofs, you can glide across the muddy surface. In football, there are backs who are better mudders. Edgar Bennett.
Yes.
Remember Edgar Bennett?
Absolutely.
Amp Lee, who played for the 49ers.
Amp Lee, love that
These
guy.
are Florida State guys.
Right.
But they were used to playing in the mud. And, man, you put Edgar Bennett in the mud, and it was like he was a magician out there.
Exactly.
Other guys who plant and dig deep into the surface, sometimes those guys are rendered ineffective.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, of the Niner backs, and they made Ty Davis Price today inactive, who's their mudder? I mean, Elijah Mitchell's going to get the first run, but whoever handles the surface better is probably going to get the most carries.
Yeah, and this is where guys like in Tennessee, when you think about the backs that they have, think about the Titans, big, one cut, he's north and south. This is the kind of game when you think about him, that's one cut getting down the field. And that's what this is about today, Larry. It's like, okay, who's that mudder that's going to get one cut and try to get north and south? Because if you try to cut and jiggle at the line a lot, you're going to lose your footing, you're going to lose your power. So it's just about being able, slow to the hole, and then fast through. So this is about patience and understanding where the defense, you get these defensive lining moving fast and moving sideways, and now you're the illusion that you're running full speed, but you already know that you're going to put that foot in the ground and make sure you get that heel and that foot in the ground same. And now when you cut, it's north and south. So it is going to be a very, very interesting game, but you do have to have that mudder back. And I hope that Mitchell's going to be ready, because I'm telling you, today, I look for the Niners to run the ball. If you had asked me, is it 30 or over? I'm going with the over. This team's going to probably run the ball 35 to 40 times because of the weather conditions.
Yeah, it's a good point. You also look at the way the Niners pared their roster down to 53. They went with a lot of guys on the line of scrimmage, both O-line and D-line. I'm looking at who's up today. All their D-linemen are up except for Jordan Willis. If there's a surprise inactive today, it's Danny Gray, the speedster rookie at SMU, inactive. That's a little bit of a surprise to me. What do you think?
Yeah, because you look at Gray and you think about the speed, and he showed you how he can go vertical, and when he's even, he's usually leaving because of his speed. But I think that goes to do with some of the weather condition, and also goes to show you that Kyle Shanahan is saying, okay, you have a quarterback that's coming into his first year of being the guy, and you have a receiver that maybe, we know he's a straight line guy. We understand he can fly, take the top off but is that going to matter today in the rain? Is that going to matter today, throwing the ball? Because you can get 20 and 30 yards down the field. You know this, Larry, that ball, the rain's hitting it. It twirls differently. It doesn't have the spin or the velocity or the warp, the different types of things in this type of weather. So maybe it's not that much of a threat. That's what Coach Shanahan may be looking and saying, look, we don't need necessarily Gray today. We need Gray when it's dry, when the track is dry. He's going to run faster. He's going to put more pressure on teams. But right now, we got our Debos. We got to go with guys who are going to get north and south, who's going to run over guys, who's going to be able to still stay on their feet. So I think that may have something to do with it too, Larry.
What are you expecting to see? That's what we're going to get into this segment on both sides of the ball. Let's start with the Niner offense. As I mentioned, Trey Lance makes his third start. There's such a wide variety of opinions, on Trey. Everything from some people think he's a sleeper candidate to be an MVP of the league.
Wow.
Then you got guys like Peter King, who have obviously a lot of credibility. Peter King has predicted that Trey Lance will get yanked as the starting quarterback by week 7. There are other people that feel like they already know that Trey's going to fail miserably. I'm not in that camp. I've got great hope for Lance. What do you expect to see from the Niner offense today?
Yeah, I think for all those things to be true, the bad is the offensive line is going to have to play really bad. For those things that Peter King is saying that may come true, the offensive line is going to have to be a sieve. And then does it get better necessarily for Jimmy G, because then you got to get the ball out of here even quicker because you know that the line can't protect. I think this whole Trey success is predicated, no pun intended, is in the trenches, in the offensive line. And I know people say, well, of course that we understand that. No, but what we're trying to say, you and I, Larry, is like if this line can hold up and give him, some time, now he can go through his reads. Now if they're running the ball well, I think Trey's going to have a heck of a year because of the fact if this team, the Niners that is, can run the ball and run the ball efficiently and have that outside zone working well, this offense is going to be unstoppable. Because of the fact now you have a double read. Now you have a double read because of the fact now if the run game's going well and they're hitting that outside zone, now if Trey keeps the ball on the boot, now when he boots, Kittle's dragging, you got Debo running a corner route, you have Ayuk still. So you have now, you look at now when you talk about that, now when he's outside of the pocket, if he's standing out there, now he's a double threat. Because he can run, the safeties, corners, they're going to have to make a decision. The defensive line's too slow to run him down from the back, and so is most of the linebackers. So now you're going to put pressure on that secondary. They have to say, do we commit and step up? And if we step up, pass goes right over the top. I think Trey is going to have so much success, especially off the play action, because that's the type of quarterback he is, and especially off the boots.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, what do you expect to see? I expect to see a more diversified rushing attack. I mean,
sure.
You mentioned, the zone reads, the option plays, maybe a little bit more boot action, holding the mesh point for maybe a tick longer.
I like it.
To try to freeze those backers. Trey, I think, can create space both to the edges in the run game and obviously with his arm strength down the field, though today, as we mentioned, we will not see Danny Gray. Now, on the flip side, the Bears don't have Akeem Hicks. They don't have Khalil Mack. They don't have Big Eddie Goldman clogging the middle. It's not quite the same front as we remember just, the last couple of years.
Sure.
So I think in a lot of ways, this might be a great place for, Jake Brendel, Aaron Banks, Spencer Burford, that interior three.
Build their confidence?
Yeah, to build a little confidence because they don't get a star-studded line with real impact guys. I'm not even sure who is the guy on that Bear front four that I'd even say would command the double team. Maybe Angelo Blackson. He's been there longest.
At times, maybe. You're right.
It's a difficult thing to say exactly who you'd want to slow down on that front. But to me, I think it's a great first game opportunity for the Niner young O-line.
Yeah, and with me, I'd make it simple. Take the guesswork out of it. At times, double Angelo Blackman. Do it because you know that he's capable at times. So if you can say, this is the guy that may give us problems, let's just take him out of the game. And if we can do that, because Big Trent, you still got the best offensive line in football. And if you can cut and double something and have Trent play out there on the edge with some pass rusher, whoever they might throw out there, you can have success. And you're right. This offensive line, everyone has got questioning. We get that, and understandably so. But you're playing against a team in opposition that you have a chance to start getting your footing underneath you. And not just that, just building some confidence. So this Chicago game is a great game, not just for Trey, but for this offensive line, the whole offensive unit, to start to build some continuity and to say, hey, look, we belong in the National Football League. So confidence, success breeds success. If you start having success early, you start feeling better about yourself. And that's what's big about this game. The Niners can't afford to get off to a slow start. You don't want Chicago to stick around. You don't want to think that they belong on the field with you. So I think this team comes out and they play physical. You play fast. I guarantee Kyle Shanahan is preaching, we need to start fast. We need to start fast and set the tone. If they can set the stones, particularly on offense, with the run game, the play action, the boots, the counters, it will take Chicago off its game plan. And like you alluded to with that mesh point, if you get Trey and he rides the guy in the middle, if he's riding the running back into the middle of the line of scrimmage, now the linebackers, they step forward and they say it's run. And now he can pull the ball out. And now you have the tight end right over the top. That's what Shanahan did great with RG3. Think about Trey and his athletic ability. Now you have a quarterback that can move and do certain things that Shanahan was masterful with RG3. RG3 never had another great year that he had with Kyle Shanahan. So I believe that Trey has way more upside, throws the ball better than RG3, has way more weapons around than RG3. So I think with this particular offense and what you're saying, Larry, the way how they're going to scheme and go after people, I think this can be very much success for this offense.
We're both big fans of Trey. I think we're probably on the side of the room of people that believe that he's going to have success. But it doesn't mean that we don't have questions about the young player. First of all, before we get to the defense and before we get into that, if you're a veteran on this team, let's say you're a 10-year veteran fullback on this team, you're Kyle Juszczyk. Do you say anything in a pregame situation to a guy like Trey, knowing he's making his first start of this year, only the third start of his career? Or do you leave the young buck alone and just say, you know what, I'm not going to put anything else in his head? Or do you want to, throw a word of encouragement or something to him to remind him of something before he takes the field today?
That's a great point. I tell you right now, Kyle Juszczyk reminds me so much of myself, just the way he goes about his business as a football player. All right, the guy has way better hands than me, so yes, Cal, you can catch the ball. But I think I was at battling ram, so I can block probably. I didn't give myself the edge there. But I like just his demeanor. I like who he is as a person. When I say that is because the opportunity happened for me when I was in San Diego and had this young quarterback by the name of Phillip Rivers. Drew Brees leaves the building. Phillip Rivers is there. And it's his second year, and he's going to now take over. And we had, like this Niner team, a lot of talent. Chris Dillman, LT, Tonio Gates, you name it, we had it. Just like this Niner team, a great defense, two great outside pass rushers, and Sean Phillips and Sean Merriam, Steve Foley, all the guys that we had on this team, Big Jamal in the middle. This Niner team is like that. The table was set. And so me and Phil Rivers is crazy. Do you say something to him? Game day, me and Phil would get up. I'd give him a call, and let's go. We'd grab a cup of coffee, bro. And Larry would go and walk. We'd be in a hotel, wherever we would be, and we would walk for like 10, 15 minutes. Just talking about life, talking about the game, and just, hey, what are you doing? Hey, young fella, it's your turn to lead. You got this. Just the calming factor. Because he's up early, he's young, he's ready to go. And man, we'll meet, have a coffee, walk the parking lot, walk whatever city we're in, if it's not too cold, and just talk. Just have a nice talk. And this is what we would do. It was our ritual. And the young fella just calmed him down. He's like, man, thank you. And it was just understood. He and I grab a cup of coffee, bro. 6 o'clock in the morning, he's already up. And he's, his nerves are going. And I'm an early guy anyway. And we'd go and do that. So I don't know if they did that, but I think Kyle Juszczyk has earned the right to say, hey, young fella, I got you. Let's just go talk. And just keep him calm. It's fine.
Yeah. Just to, get him in the right mind space.
Sure.
What is a legitimate question that you have about Trey? Because to me, I have two. How precise can he be with the football? How accurate can he be? That's my first one. And the second one is just what we see with a lot of young quarterbacks who have mobility.
Yeah.
Does he leave the pocket too early? Is it one read and flight? Or is he going to stick? Is he going to plant his feet in the pocket, let his guys work open down the field, give his receivers chance to make that double move? To me, those are the two questions. How accurate can he be, and how patient can he be within the pocket before he bails out? What are you looking for?
That's awesome that you're in that same space that I'm at, Larry. Same church, same pew, and I'll sit on your lap this time. You look at a quarterback, and at times. Think about you probably did this, Larry, walking in or when you're a young kid, you're walking down the street and you have the lines on every sidewalk. And you try to say, I'm going to see if I can step over the lines. I don't want to step on it. You try to get a walking pattern that you don't hit the line that the creases that's in the sidewalk. So, you're walking, your stride, your gait. You're like, okay, I'm not going to step on these lines. I'm going to see how long I can do this. And that's the same thing with the quarterback. Because if you overstride in between before you get to the next line, the next one you're going to hit. Because your gate's too wide. If you take those small steps and choppy steps, I can time it when I get close to that line. I'm going to be able to overstep it because I'm not in mid stride. So what I'm saying, the point that I'm making is Trey has to remember those same type of concepts, just like you didn't want to step on that line. Small steps in the pocket. Own the pocket. Small movements. Don't overstep. Don't try to climb too far in the pocket. Don't take overgathered steps. So it's to be nice, control, stop. Says, look, I'm going to own the pocket. And that's what Tom Brady does so masterfully is inside that pocket. He's fighting in the phone booth. He's able to just move 3 inches. It's such a slight step. That's what I want to see from Trey. Like you said, because if he takes that big stride, sometimes he can overstride and he can step into harm's way. Is he going to have the know-how? That's what I want to see. Is this guy going to be control when he climbs in the pocket? Is it going to be a control, concise, I know what I'm doing, just a small movement, a dip of the shoulder, those little things just to buy that much time for that receiver to come open. So I want to see him do that. I want to see him go through his reads. I want to see this guy be able to look at the safety, and he already knows that there's a dig coming underneath, but I'm going to look at that corner route because I know my deep six is coming underneath that, or my shot, or my 8, or my crosser. I want to see how he does that. Or is he able to stare down that guy that's running that deep 6 route? Is he able to stare down the receiver because he knows he's going to have that post coming right behind him? Is Trey going to be able to control the safeties with his eye movement and with his body control? So I want to see that too, Larry. Go through the progressions, alignment, assignment, and technique.
No Daniel Brunskill today. No George Kittle. So those guys are not going to be going. No Danny Gray. So that I thought was interesting. All right, final 5 minutes of this segment. Bottom of the hour, by the way, JD joins us from Soldier Field. Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
We'll check in on the latest on the 49ers with all the late-breaking news coming up in about 10 minutes. Let's jump to the 49ers. As they say, let's flip the card.
Let's flip it.
Let's flip the card and talk about the Niner defense. What do you expect to see? What concerns do you have? My primary one is this team got rid of DJ Jones. And Jones is a great player against the run and the pass. I love Kinlaw. He looked absolutely monster in the Vikings practices and in that preseason game. But can he play with leverage? I think teams are going to go at the Niners in the A-gap running the ball, especially today with Montgomery, who's a big physical back. I mean, I think they're going to try to pound the Niners in the A-gap and challenge Kinlaw and Armstead inside to make plays against the run. What do you expect to see from the Niner D? What concerns do you have?
Well, I'm a huge believer in offense entertains, but defense wins championships. And you look at this Niners team; it's been built on defense. Concern to me is like, hey, look, you got to win on first and second down. Concerns today, it's a muddy field, and you know they're going to try to pound the ball, like you said, in between the tackles. Will the Niners go more 4 down at times? Would they say, hey, let's go with a heavy package, bring in an extra D lineman? How are the Niners going to play? But not only protect the A gaps, I need the ends to contain. That's what's a big concern. Just like we have that quarterback that we talked about, Trey, who can get outside the pocket. But last I checked, so does Chicago Bears.
Yep.
They have a quarterback that can get outside the pocket, and you saw the magic that he did last year. That run was absolutely amazing, zigzagging, going through. The Niners can't afford to let him get loose. They can't afford to let him break contain. You have to keep him in that phone booth because I want the Niners defense to stay fresh, because when they get tired, you can get injury. When you get tired, you start losing more control, and now the inside running game starts to work because now you're not consistent. So then you start playing guesswork. It's imperative for me today to see the outside ends and see the containment. Keep Fields in the phone booth. Keep him in the phone booth. Understand that you still got to protect those A gaps like you talked about against the run with Montgomery. If you can do that and say, look, we're going to be stout in these gaps, and we're going to say linebackers are going to fill, but outside backers and ends are going to keep fills, and we're going to make them play on a short field and not let him play to his strength. That's what's going to be big for me today at defense, is seeing this defense keep everything inside.
You got Braxton Jones. He's a rookie left tackle, mid-round pick out of Southern Utah, going against Nick Bosa. Woo. Your first start in the NFL, brother, and you got Nick Bosa on the other side of the line of scrimmage. But, Lo, you totally hit it. It's the coordinated rush against Fields.
Yes.
That is absolutely going to be essential. The Bears are young in their kind of rebuild. This is year one for Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles. They don't have a lot of big-time weapons here, but they're the difference maker, or the equalizer, if you will, is Fields' ability to run and gash you for 40 or 50 yards.
Big plays.
Because you didn't have a coordinated rush. You can't give him an avenue. If he gets a big avenue, he will take it, and that might just be the kind of impact play that can make this much more of an even football game.
No question. You're spot on, Larry, and that's why I spy at times. I bring me a safety down in the box and I say, hey, look, your job is to spy, especially on obvious rundowns, because I'm playing press man and playing some man-to-man if I'm the Niners, and I'm going to say, look, we're not going to let Fields beat us. So I want to make sure that, hey, I got to commit my linebacker to the run, and that I don't necessarily spy him on Fields all day. I bring my safety and say, look, your job is to spy him and keep him in this thing contained. So keep an eye on him. That's what I would do if I'm the Niners at times, especially on obvious run plays. I'm bringing an extra guy in the box, and that guy is there for Fields. His job is to follow him. If he goes to the bathroom, you go with him. If he goes get a water break, you follow him over there to the other sideline. That's what you do if you're the San Francisco 49ers on that defense.
That's why this guy's the best. Low Neal, we got more straight ahead. Boots on the ground. JD's going to join us next. We're not going to see George Kittle. Who starts at free safety opposite of Fonga? Is it going to be Tayshaun Gibson, who was activated today? Will it be the veteran special teamer George Odom? George Kittle will not play. What does that mean for the rest of the tight ends? A lot of questions. There's a lot of talk the Niners may go to a 5-1-5 look with one linebacker out there, 5 defensive backs. You may see 4 corners on the field at one time with Ward, Mosley, Womack, and Diamador Lenore all on the field at the same time. So a lot to get to. Fans everywhere from the Bay Area fans everywhere in Chicago this weekend with the Giants there and the Niners there. We'll talk about the invasion of the red and gold fans on Soldier Field when JD joins us next as we get you ready for the Niners and the Bears. Week 1 in the NFL on 95.7 The Game.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where
It won't be me. It will be Alan Stiles and Sterling Bennett on the post game today. So check out Allen and Sterling after 49er football. All right, Lo, let's get out to Soldier Field for JD. John Dickinson joins us where, JD, you staying out of the rain. What's the field look like?
Yeah, staying dry, and they're trying to keep the field squeegeed, guys. I mean, there was a downpour just about 90 minutes ago. The tarp was on the field when I got here, and a little bit of light rain at that point, but right about 10 o'clock Central Time, so 8 o'clock Pacific, right as the grounds crew started to take the tarp off the field, it just started dumping, and it absolutely dumped for the early warm-up for about 90 minutes. About a full hour, about 15 minutes ago or so, it lightened up, and they were squeegeeing the field and trying to brush some areas where it had puddled up in the south end zone, in the red zone area. It had really puddled up to where they were taking the squeegees to it and trying to move that water the best they can to the sideline and keep it as playable as possible. The rain has lightened, as I mentioned. But in the next hour, as this thing kicks off, it is supposed to pick up again and then maybe lighten throughout the afternoon a little bit.
Before Lo jumps in, any word on Trey as far as will he wear gloves? We saw Jimmy wear gloves in these conditions a year ago. He wore them in I believe, that Colts game. What about Trey? Is Trey wearing gloves in the warm-up? Do you expect him to be gloveless, or will he have them on?
I think best I could tell, it's gloveless. But I was fixated on him in not only the early warm-up, but just now as they were, in pads out on the field in uniform. And I will tell you this, there was some ball security issues just in the early warm-up. And I know that's guys just out there getting a feel for the ball and trying to get loose. But even taking a couple of shotgun snaps, he bobbled a couple of them, Trey did. Dropped one of them. There were drops from the receivers as they were just running basic routes, trying to hang on to the rock and get used to what at that point was a pretty slick football because of the fact that was in the middle of that downpour. So yeah, we'll have to see. It looked like he and the receivers both got more comfortable with it as they stayed out there for a good half hour or so, and then things looked a little bit more comfortable in the uniformed warm-up, which just completed.
No question, JD, that the guys are going to put the ball on the ground today with the way that the weather is. Both teams are going to have some difficulties, holding on to it. Do you know during the week, I know when I was there in the years that I played, that, the many teams that I played for, going into the week when we knew that it was going to be a rain game, Marty, what they would do is bring the big trash can out there and they would soak the ball in water every single snap, the ball's in water. Do you know if the Niners do any of that during the week this week? Do you know if they did any of that stuff?
Yeah, they prep it for sure. And I think that's a big reason why George Kittle's not playing this week and maybe not playing next week is just the conditions, and you don't want to get out there on a groin. Not to get off on a tangent on that, but yeah, they prep it and they know what the environment is going to be, and they want to make sure that they can put these guys through, like you said, game situations to the best of their ability, and that's an easy one, right? Like that's an easy one to go through, and so this is, it just adds another layer. All eyes on these two young quarterbacks this morning and on into the afternoon, and it just, the elements add another layer to this thing. How do they handle it? I think that the Niners are built to handle it, but how does the young quarterback handle it? And now the biggest start of his career and the first start as the true QB1 of the franchise. Yeah,
that's a great point. I mean, I was saying to Lo earlier, JD, that I don't know that there's ever been a larger divide in the opinions people have about a young player. I mean, Peter King says he's going to be benched by week 7. Other people think that he could be a sleeper MVP candidate. Lance had a 116 quarterback rating in the preseason. I don't know how much credence to put into that. He had a 97 quarterback rating in the 2 games that he played last year. What are you expecting to see today?
Yeah, I think today is one of those games where they're going to want to run it 30 times and just hang on to the rock and move the chains and really take advantage of their dominant defense against an offensive line that's really in flux for the Bears. I think it's the template of, if you got to win ugly today, win ugly today, but the onus will be, are we going to see fewer deep shots because of the elements? Like that's kind of the thing I wonder, because I think so much, and I know, Larry, you've been all over this, of the benefit of having Trey Lance is you want to be more explosive offensively. Well, if the elements take away some of the explosiveness and you want to run it a lot, the onus then is on Trey Lance to hit a few more of the shorter passes to move the chains and to pick up yardage to stay out of 3rd and long situations. And those are the areas in which he's weakest. Let's just be honest. It's those shorter throws. It's some of the stuff over the middle. That's where the inaccuracy has been. But I think the Niners are prepared to win ugly, force a couple of turnovers, and make a couple of big plays on offense, and just get out of here with a W.
JD, how do you look at this offensive line and just start to finish? Give me what your assessment is of the San Francisco 49ers offensive line.
Hall of Famer at left tackle, and a lot of question marks, and then a lot of question marks beyond that. I mean, that's the best way to assess it, really. And a lot of unknowns. I think it's run blocking versus pass blocking too. I think is another part of this, because Trey Lance being mobile and being able to roll him out, being able to put him in the gun, those are the kinds of things that can mitigate an offensive line. But I also think, are they going to be able to run block? Like, that's because if they can run block, they're going to be able to, I think, play effectively to keep the defense off balance, go play action, and be able to hold up a little better. I think Kyle Shanahan, a lot of this is on him. It's always on him with the Niners, but a lot of scheming up. Forget about the creativity in terms of the play calls and getting guys open, but scheming up ways to keep Trey Lance upright and to keep him able to make plays to where this team can move the sticks and put points on the board. I think he is as connected to the offensive line and how they function as maybe more than any head coach in the league, to be perfectly honest.
JD, the inactive list is out. George Kittle, Daniel Brunskill, Nick Zakelj, Ty Davis-Price, the rookie running back, Brock Purdy, Jordan Willis. But if there's a surprise name on the list, it's Danny Gray, the speedster from SMU, is inactive. How surprised are you by that I guess, was it Marcus Turner that's active and Gray inactive?
Yeah, Malik Turner. Malik Turner
yeah.
Active. I know Malik Turner's a guy that they do depend on for special teams. I mean, he's somebody that I think would get the nod over Gray just based on that. You always got to wonder, is he in the doghouse? Is he in the Shanahan doghouse with the young wide receiver? Maybe a little bit of tough love early on. Maybe a little bit of concern about ball security in the elements as well. But that was a stunner for me, because I think I would have bet when I woke up this morning that there would have been every bit the chance that maybe Trey Lance hits that deep ball to Danny Gray that maybe takes the top off this thing and puts some points on the board for the 49ers. So that was a stunner to me. The other interesting note, and this is not as stunning, but you've got another one of these third-round picks in Ty Davis-Price that's been supplanted by the undrafted Jordan Mason. So it's going to be Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. and Jordan Mason, the three running backs that are up, obviously in addition to Kyle Juszczyk at fullback. But that's it. That one's not a surprise. But again, another example, guys, of the undrafted guys just seem to function better and move up the depth chart faster in this Kyle Shanahan regime.
Looking on the opposite side of the ball, the defense, what concerns you when you think about Fields and what he's been able to do, and two quarterbacks that everyone has, is wondering how they're going to perform? The Niners have a better squad. We get that. But what's the Niners' plans today, and how do you feel about the defense against Fields, who very mobile guy?
Yeah, mobile guy. Obviously, got to keep him. You got to trap him, keep him from escaping. And look, I think this game is prime for the Niners defense to dominate on the interior, contain him. I think the secondary depth that the 49ers have added comes into play here. I just don't see enough playmakers, even in these elements, for the Bears. Yeah, Fields is nice, and he had a nice game on Halloween. against the Niners last year, but I just don't see enough Bears playmakers to be putting up points against this 49ers defense. I think they're going to struggle to score an offensive touchdown today, to be perfectly honest. And we'll see. Turnovers can flip it. Maybe the elements make the Niners less explosive. Maybe the running game becomes more at the forefront, which obviously the Bears want to run the football as well to try and take some of the heat off of the pass rush and off of Justin Fields. But I really like the matchup for the 49ers defense today, going up against just a Bears squad that's just, I think, void of talent, top to bottom.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Luke Getsy, by the way, is the Bears' offensive coordinator. He's a first-time OC. He's never been an OC before, so his offense features the outside zone rushing attack, and they try to go vertical. But the Bears' O-line last year allowed a league-worst 58 sacks and a league-worst 428 sack yards. Here's the big question I have for you, JD, as far as the Niner defense. Tayshaun Gibson was activated, and he's done nothing but start throughout his entire career. I think he's got close to 30 career picks. Is it going to be Gibson, or is it going to be Odom opposite Hufanga there at free safety?
I think it's going to be Gibson. I think it's going to be Gibson. And, I mean, you said it. I think Hufanga even alluded to it a little bit during the week that they kind of spilled the beans a little bit on that one. But, yeah, you don't bring Gibson up to not play Gibson. And Odom, obviously more known for being a special teamer. The Niners trying to improve their special teams. Hey, that's another angle to this thing, right? You got Richard Hightower now, the special teams coordinator for the Bears, and the Niners completely revamping their special teams. They don't just want it to not lose them the game anymore. Maybe they'll make some plays in the special teams. But yeah, that's a big part of why Odom and others are on this team. But no, I think the lean is Gibson, guys, at free safety.
What is the biggest if for Trey to come out today successful, what are some of the things that you're looking for him? Win, lose, or draw, but what are some of the things that you're looking for from this young quarterback?
Number one, hang on to the rock. Don't turn it over.
Right.
I mean, that's just don't turn it over. Don't put it on the ground to where you lose it. You give the Bears some short field opportunities, extra possessions, that kind of thing. And number two, it would be stay calm and move the sticks. I mean, just third down conversions. That's something where Jimmy Garoppolo's been very good throughout the course of his career. Maybe some of the explosiveness again is mitigated, as we talked about, by the weather and the elements here. But just play poised. Play poised. Don't turn it over. Live the fight another play. And, if all of that shakes out, I think that's where the Niners' talent advantage over 60 minutes of a football game. I mean, they were down last year in this stadium on Halloween in the second half and then put the game away with a flurry. Opening days can be weird. Home openers can be weird. The Bears probably don't realize that they're not a good football team yet. We'll look up probably in week 10 and, they're 2-7, or but they think they got a shot today because everybody thinks they got a shot in opening day. So just play calm, play poised.
JD, one last one on your way out the door. We appreciate you giving us your time before you get back to your seat and get a chance to watch this one. Adam Schefter had this today. He said, had the 49ers, this is 4 hours ago, had the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo been unable to agree to a restructured contract this summer, the rival Rams were lurking as a possible destination for the veteran quarterback. I maintained this exact point to Willard when this restructure came down, that this was not necessarily a referendum on Trey and how he's played this summer, but it's more about protecting intel inside of the division from going to Seattle or worse yet, the Rams. What do you think of the report?
I'm not surprised by it at all, and I'm not surprised that the Niners would do everything they possibly could to keep him out of the division, and that goes for Seattle, but especially the Rams. Nobody really knew what was going on with this Matthew Stafford deal with the elbow. It was very curious, and I had the thought, and look, I tend to really try to suss out every possible scenario, but I had the thought, what if they're posturing on Stafford and they know something is more serious and they're just waiting for Jimmy to get cut and all of a sudden they snap him up and then the news on Stafford is maybe a little bit different. than the news on Stafford was. At the very least, like this elbow thing, and he can say he got the PRP and he's feeling better. I know, I guess before the game Thursday, he said he's feeling better than he has, or better than he did at this point last year. Well, he didn't necessarily play like it on Thursday night, but that thing's going to linger, Larry. I mean, like that, he may feel fine now, but if he's throwing the ball as much as they're going to need to throw the ball, that thing is going to get banged up at some point. So having a guy like Garoppolo who knows the system as the backup, as an insurance policy, the Rams would have loved to have had that, just as the Niners themselves have loved to have it. So yeah, pay Jimmy $6.5 million to prevent him going to the Rams or Seahawks. I mean, that is every bit the no-brainer, as much as it may be a hedge. It may be a small hedge on the young quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a little bit of both, but I mean, having Jimmy in L.A. was probably something they were not eager to see. JD, great stuff, man.
Could you imagine?
Oh no,
could you imagine that? That would have been incredible.
I can't imagine it, and I think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were shuddering at the idea of the Rams with all that talent potentially having Jimmy G as a backup to Matthew Stafford. Instead, if Stafford goes down, there's John Wolford. And, that's quite a bit less than what Jimmy Garoppolo currently is. So, JD, great stuff, man. We'll talk to you.
All right, sounds good.
JD on the ground, boots on the ground there in Chicago. All right, we got about, 8 or 9 minutes before we finish up and get ready for week one. Couple quick things before we get into some picks. George Kittle is not going to play. Jimmy Ward's on IR. He's out the first month. Both these guys are great freaking football players, but they both have the same thing going on. They out-hit their body. Kittle's pumped up. He ran around at 220 at Iowa. He's 250 now. He's all yoked up. Jimmy Ward, will absolutely detonate on anybody at any time. Covers like a corner, but hits like a linebacker. And to me, these might be the 49ers, two of their very, very best players. Let's say Trent and Bosa are number 1 and 2. Well, then Ward and Kittle are like 3 and 4 maybe, or 4 and 5. You want to throw Debo in there as far as best Niners. But those guys out-hit their body, and you've seen it up close.
Yeah, I have. And when you look at guys, I play with a lot of guys like that just built, but there's framework that their body is just like, you're like, wow. Their framework just don't allow them, even though they can do it, they just don't hold up. And you got to worry about Kittle because he's arguably the best tight end in the league. And it's just, man, you got him on a pitch count. This is a game you should win without him. You're growing, and he's as to growing. But here's a guy that, he's physical. He gets downhill. He'll run you over. But is his body durable enough for that? And I think Kittle's going to have to make some choices, too, in the games moving forward to okay, I got to live the fight on another day for this team. And I know guys probably tell him, and coaches are probably saying, hey, look, we need you, man. We need you for the long haul. So save that one. Let's save a couple of these because, that's just who he is. And another, when you talk about Ward, you're absolutely right. Ward would come in, he'll come in and try to knock you out. And he's laying his body on the line because there's no fair dodging. He understands that he plays aggressive. And that's what makes these guys who they are. And it's hard to make these guys slow down. It's hard to tell these guys, hey, just tackle better. Or it's hard to tell Kittle, hey, man, just go ahead and now get out of bounds. Don't go for those yak yards. You saw a couple of years ago when they played against friggin' the Saints and he catches that flat route, turns it up, dragging, pulling, running over guys, face masking, doing whatever. That's just who he is. But you're absolutely right, Larry. You worry about these guys' body, their structure. Can they hold up, a 17-game season and play like this year in and year out? It's hard. It's a hard way to make a living, and it's tough, especially for certain guys. They don't have that body like a guy, no pun intended, and he's a quarterback. But you know what? Josh Allen. You don't worry about him necessarily getting hurt. He's just so big, so physical, so strong, and just built different. Not that taking anything away from Kittle and these guys because they're unbelievable players, but sometimes your body just can't hold up.
Yeah, no, seriously. By the way, fastest hour ever. We're like 3 minutes away from the end of the show. Yeah. Alan Stiles and Sterling Bennett today. Sterling Bennett sitting in for Kyle in the postgame. So Alan and Sterling will catch you on 95.7 The Game for all your Niner postgame. So as soon as the game hits zeros, flip it to 95.7 The Game and check out Allen and Sterling. They will keep you entertained well into the afternoon. All right, let's make some picks. I like the Niners to win this game, and I think it's going to be, I like the under. As far as wagering today in the NFL, I took a 3-team teaser. I went Niners, Chiefs, Titans on the teaser. That's what I wagered on today. Niners, Chiefs, Titans. But let's just roll through the games. I'll throw you the game real quick. We only got about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But Saints, Falcons, Saints given 5.5. Who do you got?
Saints, cover.
I'm going Saints as well. Niners, Bears, Niners minus the touchdown. I like the Niners on the tees, but with the 7, what do you think?
Ooh, with the 7's going to be tough, but I like them. I just think they're just too much for the Chicago Bears. Don't have weapons. Niners cover.
I agree. Steelers, Bengals. It's Mitch Trubisky. I'm going Bengals minus 6.5.
Where's that game at?
It's in Cincy.
You know what? This is my surpriser. I like the Steelers. I think they got great defense. They're playing a lot better. I like them. Steelers.
Yeah, they're good in week 1. Eagles, Lions in Detroit. We saw the Lions on Hard Knocks. I'm rooting for the Lions, but I'm picking the Eagles minus the 4.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Not me, Joey. I know you hate me for this football, but I'm telling you right now, I think the Detroit Lions, I got them winning outright.
Wow, Pats, Dolphins in South Florida. Dolphins are a field goal favorite in that heat and sticky humidity. I'm going to go with the Dolphins at home.
I'm taking the Dolphins in the cover. I'm with you, Larry.
Ravens, Jets at MetLife. Ravens a touchdown favorite on the road. I like the Ravens. Flacco against his former club.
Ooh, Jets, Jets. I think the Jets, man. I don't think something about the Ravens. Something's missing. I don't know. Something's missing. Jets.
So, you're going Jets. How about Jags, Commanders in D.C., Washington given field goal?
I'm all over it. Washington.
Well, I'll go Jaguars there.
Okay.
I'm going Baker Mayfield to beat his former team, the Browns, in Charlotte today. It's Carolina minus 2.5.
Yeah, you know what? I'm pulling for Baker, but I just think when you look at the Browns got some talent. I still don't think. I think Baker's going to have a good game, but I'm going to take the Browns.
I'm taking the Colts to beat the Texans in Houston, but I love Damian Harris.
Hey.
Or Damian Pierce,
Right,
I should say.
I know exactly. I love what Levy Smith's bringing to the team. This Texan team's going to play better. They're going to be a better team, but I'm still. I can't bet against them.
I'm going Titans over the G-Men in Nashville.
I'm with you. I'm in the Ville, baby. Come on.
There
Nashville.
you go. What do we Aaron Rodgers in Minneapolis against Cousins and the Vikes?
Yeah, Rodgers, baby. Rodgers. He's going to show everyone.
Okay, I like that. Chiefs over the Cardinals in the desert. I like that.
And the home of the Chiefs. Absolutely.
Raiders, Chargers down in SoCal. This is a 125. Chargers by a field goal.
Let me tell you, Chargers on a motorboat. Motorboat in the Raiders.
Brady in Dallas against the Cowboys. I'm going with Tom.
Ooh, you know what? I love Tom. I think Tom's going to play amazing because everyone's talking junk because he's been out. Tom's going to play amazing. But, man, how about them Cowboys? Cowboys win this game.
How about Russell going back to Seattle? That didn't take long. Week 1.
Back to Seattle. Russell Wilson. Denver Broncos can run the ball. Denver Broncos is a better team than people think. Give me Denver Broncos.
Fastest hour there's ever been. Low, great to see you, man.
You're my guy.
Have a great week 1. Alan Stiles and Sterling Bennett after on 95.7 The Game. Enjoy Niner football.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free, so you can drive with peace of mind. Restrictions apply.
How do you make the most of your land? Everyone has their way. The Nelsons depend on their John Deere Gator XUV 835R to get
from point A to point B with decoys and the dogs.
As much as we got going on, it's all about efficiency.
And if you ask the Mosers what they use their Gator XUV 590M for, they tell you.
The most fun we have on the Gator is just ripping around the property.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Kansas City Steak Company, another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, an average site wouldn't do. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level. With a dramatic increase in competition and a softening market demand, they had two challenges: improve their brand presence and message and produce a positive return. AmericanEagle.com got to work and executed usability studies and detailed audits of site experience, digital assets, and marketing. The result? An integrated digital marketing and customer experience plan, organic traffic increase of